Hey guys, After Gaming here. Recently, there's been some good news around the world, like the COVID-19 vaccine is looking promising. That really is a good news. But you know what else is promising? My Sorcerer team also looks promising. Um, so I made this Sorcerer team. I just have this Soul Reaper. I believe some of you may also are getting him or as well from the storage. So let's take a look how I built my Sorcerer team and how my Sorcerer team does in the arena. If we look at this Soul Reaper skill, there are, so for auto leaders, you can activate 5 out of the 6 buffs. Let's look at them one by one. The first one is you at least need 5 sorcerer partners, and then you need Yuffie or Annie. Because Yuffie is a sorcerer, so you most likely will just use Yuffie, and Annie is completely optional. And the third one is each class except sorcerer has only 1 partner in the team. This one gives crit rate, but the other one, if you deploy 3 spell and light partners, it will give more HP. I would say mostly you want to go for this one because crit can help your damage a lot, and spell and lag doesn't really help with sorcerer a lot. They could, but you know, you could already have 2, like 1 spell and 1 light with this buff. This will just give you 1 more, and unless you, I would say unless your units are mostly spell and light, you could start with this and then slowly transition to this. The last 2 buffs are about collecting the SSRs and stuff. Right now there are 10 sorcerers in the game, so collecting 80% of that means you need to have 8 sorcerers. And the last one is you need to deploy at least 5 SSRs, which should be easily achievable. You don't have a lot of SR or R options for the sorcerer. Okay, so let's take a look at, actually let's look at it this way. What are all the sorcerers in this game? As you see here, Shiki, I believe a lot of you have her at 6-star due to the bug that this game had. It will be good. She's good, and if you have her at 6-star, use her. It's pretty good. And then Yuffie, Feminist have all been on the banners. If you have them, they're good to use. Let's say Yuffie is a core to the sorcerer team, because like Yuffie, if deploy at least 5 sorcerer class partners, it will give sorcerer class additional damage. So it's a must for sorcerer team. You have to have Yuffie. And Rotania is also good, but my Rotania is only at 3-star. That is good because her skill is just very strong, but she is also 20 cost. The reason being any partner on the battlefield increases Rotania's damage rate by 7%. So if we have 8, that means 56%, and that's a lot. She already does a lot of damage to enemies. I believe the same rate as other sorcerers, the full board clear skills, but she will get additional 50% if you place her at the right moment. And now there is another SSR that is sorcerer, but I don't have yet, is Nicola. Let's talk about Nicola. So this is my biggest regret on this account. I did not do any reroll before playing this, and now I'm heavily invested and I can't just go back and reroll this account. I don't have Nicola at start, but if you're just starting out in a new server, and if you want to do the rerolls, I would highly recommend get Nicola out of the 3 starters. The 3 starters are Nicola, Hotaru, and Frentiva. I have Frentiva, and Frentiva is pretty easy to get. I get the Frentiva from the summons the first. So, and also Frentiva is not generally good for your story clears or arena. She's good probably in the Tencent tournaments, but Tencent is not open right now, so definitely not a priority. Hotaru could fit in the attack team, but also you won't be able to get a high start for Hotaru early on in the game, so it doesn't matter too much. But for Nicola, it could change a little bit because I think for out of those 3 summons, if you look at my progress right now, I've already summoned 1 Frentiva, and now I'm on towards the second one. Hotaru, I'm close to the first one. And for Nicola, I'm very far from the first one, like halfway. So if you count all the days that you have for the Nicola duration, you will have, and if you do the gen contribution every day, you will have 2 Nicolas out of this banner. And if you also have Nicola from the starter, then you will have Nicola at 5-star. Otherwise, you will only have Nicola at most 4-star. Then my plan is to farm Nicola shards in Arcana every day once I got the first copy. That way I might make it up to have the 5-star as soon as I have the second copy from the banner. But Nicola is, I heard Nicola is not good at 3-star, but starting to be good after 4 and 5 stars. I don't have good videos about this, but even if you don't have Nicola, there are some other interesting choices you can take. Let's go back to the sorcerers. So out of the remaining ones are SR and Rs. If you have Ray built up, Ray is pretty good. Feel free to use Ray. But Ray is only going to fall off after like 140 and 170, that range, because she's an Arch. Like her base stats is not going to be as high as the other partners, but her skill kit is pretty strong because her passive has this 1 immunity. So only Ray has this 1 immunity in the Sorcerer's comp. But for whoever you have the Shiki, you probably don't want to use Ray because they like Shiki's passive is directly against the Ray. So never use those 2 units together in the team. That'll make your Ray completely useless. So enough about Ray. Tiffany is bad. Tiffany has the bonus damage towards summoned and enemies, but summon is not very common. And the rest 2 choices are SRs. They are pretty good. Chiyo has an effect to boost the other sorcerers in your hand. I believe after the passive activation, it should be where to check that. Should be 15 if I remember correctly. Yeah, if there are more than 4 sorcerers in the lineup, damage rate increases 15. So this is most useful if you are playing manually or if you're playing auto in the arena. In the other cases, auto will not exactly have more sorcerers in your hand, thus this buff can be wasted. So in my lineup, I'm actually choosing Geo in my team, like you see here, simply because for the rest of the sorcerers, none of them is good enough for damage wise, but Chiyu can at least boost other sorcerers, so I'm using Chiyu. Nina is pretty good, but it's just not really good right now. As the game unlocks further chapters, you will have a chance to unlock the SSR version of Nina, and then Nina will have more crits and more chance to crit. Basically, she'll be an assassin like for column damage, really high. Like, will be similar, maybe a little bit less than Kasumi, but she does a similar thing, which is damaging the mid column, ideally very heavily. So you not only clear some of the tanks, but you also damage the enemy leader, which can be very powerful. Right now, I'm not using her simply because her stat is not catching up just yet. Alright, for all the 5 sorcerers we have talked about, if you have Nicola, feel free to, after you get Nicola's 4-star, feel free to swap Chiyu for Nicola, or even Rotania for Nicola, because Rotania's cost is too high. I feel like most people will have more chance of getting Fitness than Rotania. I only have 1 copy of Rotania, but I already had like around 10 copies of Fitness. It's pretty common. So yeah, those are the 5 sorcerers. Once you knock down the 5 sorcerers, the next will be which 4 other classes will you use. Out of the 7 classes, there are 6 left, and you need to pick 4 out of them. I would say you at least need Miyuki, right? Miyuki can just basically reduce the rage. There are no good alternatives to Miyuki right now. So Miyuki definitely needs to be here. And you would also want some light partners. Light partners can be pretty good in buffing your team damage. Let's take a look at light here. You ideally want to choose between Phoebe and Vivian. So what Vivian does is lower your actual cost, average, and also serves as a pseudo tank that can take 1 hit or 2. Phoebe works like AoE buff and damage. So if you use Phoebe, what I would recommend you to do is save your energy to close to 30. So basically you have to have something standing in front of your leader to take some hits for some certain period of time. Then once you have a lot of energy, place Phoebe and then immediately place Yuffie or Fabinus, so that you can make sure you have that buff. You can use that buff on all the enemy teams units. The other lights are not very recommended for this tip comp. If you have Amon up really high, you can use him as well. Haruto also does some AoE damage. You could use her if you don't have Phoebe or Vivian. But I think having Phoebe would be easy for most of you guys. So I would recommend at least Phoebe or Vivian. Next up is the tank. I would say tank is pretty helpful. If you don't have tank, you mostly will have some trouble protecting your leader. And in this case, which tank is going to be the best? The Guardian, actually. So in my opinion, the most fitting Guardians are either Selena or Angela. Angela can help you revive one of your died sorcerers, so you have more chance of dealing damage. So if you look at those buffs, a lot of those, like this is buffing AoE damage, this buffing... Okay, this one is not buffing the sorcerer, but Yuffie's passive is buffing sorcerers only. So in this team comp, really is your sorcerers is doing all the damage. I would say Angela is better than Selena in the case that she can revive a sorcerer and use the taunt to protect that sorcerer for a little bit more time. And then for Selena, it's better if you choose Selena because she's just all around very good. That's okay too. Selena can also heal your leader to get you to a more healthy HP to finish that story stage, or basically winning the arena fight by having more HP, that can be helpful too. Selena will also, you can also activate Selena's passive because you will have more than 14 average energy, and that will give your leader a little bit more health. That's about that. And the next one, I don't really have a good choice. So if you have a high star Anna, feel free to use Anna. Anna fits him pretty well, but my Anna is kind of low, and I think a lot of people are going for feminists in arena right now, and basically if you're not changing your team orders, Anna can actually damage your team just while they're placing their feminists. I don't really like to manipulate my team around each opponent that I fight, so I instead use Ashwaya. So Ashwaya is not bad. It's just not always fitting into Sorcerer team, but I will use Ashwaya because I have her as 6-star. That's just for me. Feel free to use any of the heal that you have. I think all of them will work if you have them built up. All right, I think that's about the tip comp. A lot of stuff. I think I will have some timestamp in the description, so you could potentially just skip to the second part if you want. Yeah, so as you have seen here, I have 3 opponents that are real opponents. They're actually the top 3 in this server before I did the last video about boosting my CP. And I'm telling you that I defeated all 3 of them using auto. But here my lineup is a little bit different. It was a few days ago when I was using Selena as the tank, mainly because I feel like they are all running those you can see here, but we'll see it in the battle report. They're all running some sort of attack team, or they have really strong attackers in the start. They will deal a lot of damage to my leader, and using Angela early in the game will just waste that additional revive. So I'm using Selena early in the game to just protect my leader a little bit. That's my reasoning. And since my Rutania and Ashwaya are not that core to this team, I'm placing them at the end. Also, they cost a little bit more. That's just my ordering reason, I guess. Also place Vivian a little bit early, and also Geo a little bit early, just to buff the team. To have a first few cards placed out reasonably fast, then I will have all the sorcerers to clear the board. Like I have 5 AoE partners consecutively. If they have placed a lot of units during this, they will just get all the AoEs and die, unless they have other plans. But well, enough about that talking. We'll see. So in this records, yeah, we actually have a little bit more. This is from the last round. We can look at all of them. Yeah, I'm putting Maki in the first just to get some damage done. Oh, actually, I think I forgot to explain about Maki here. Kasumi would be a better choice, but I don't have Kasumi at 6-star yet because I'm 1 day late to the server. I will be getting him probably tonight, and after that I will probably change my team a little bit. So right now, yeah, as I said, my first 4 units are not that strong. They're all cleared, but also this Soul Reaper leader has a buff that he will be more tanky during the first 5 rounds, so that was okay. Yeah, at this part of the game, maybe I got lucky. Maybe I'm a little bit stronger. I was able to have Shiki alive there to deal additional round of unique skill damage, and I was able to maintain a leader house advantage throughout the game. That's probably why I won this. And I think one advantage for Sorcerer team is that you don't really need to find a chance to snipe the leader house. All of your attacks will be also applied to the leader. And also I'm seeing here I'm a little bit unfair towards this guy because I have a little higher level and my leader house is higher. Yeah, so far it's looking good. Yeah, Shiki is gonna die. And it's good that Shiki still has some health. And as you see, like, Fitness is fairly common. That's why I'm not using any healer right now. Now I don't have a partner, but I'm still very healthy. Nice. Getting that hit instead of my leader. I hope my Miyuki will not just die. Nice. Yeah, that really just wasted one of Gami's revive. The other thing I noticed about Soul Reaper is that his damage skill deals a little bit more damage than the other leaders. I'm not sure if that's just me or it's true. I feel like the leader skill can crit, which makes it a little bit better. Yeah, I forgot which guy we're going against. But we're probably still the same. We still have a house advantage. Yeah, at this point they actually had a pretty good advantage. I could just lose at any time. If I could play manually, right now is probably the chance to use the invincibility. God, my Yuffie is so broken. I'll try show you my Yuffie's gear later on. That actually does a lot of damage. Oh, that was actually debug. Okay, let's look at some of the chance that failed. This guy is right now the top one in the server. I think my team has 270k. This guy has 320k, and I don't really have a house advantage over him. And this game is very hard to deal with. I will always have a member's disadvantage in the early game. And even my trio won't help. It will just give additional rage to them. Wow, that's a lot of additional hits. Yeah, that invincible, it really helped. Yeah, has basically was able to absorb two Kasumi outs and kill Kasumi in the end. Right now they don't really have a members advantage now. Oh, they revived Gami. It's gonna be very hard. Gami, yeah, Gami will do this. Yeah, we wasted one more revive, but they still have one. I think we did pretty good in this one. But also, my last two units are not as strong, so I'm not really confident in this situation. They also have an AoE cleared all my stuff. Yeah, as long as they have AoE, Ashraya is not going to be very strong. Yeah. I'm surprised. It takes them so much time to kill my leader. Yeah, I think as the game progresses, the leader will have a lot of health compared to the partners. So the pan sniper is not going to be as effective. Let's look at the second chance that I lost. This one, I think I'm fighting manually, but I don't think I did a good job. The Kasumi is really annoying. But luckily AoE can handle Kasumi. Yeah. My Vivian's gonna die. Nice. I'm having member advantage now, but they revived Kasumi. I have a feeling. Oh yeah, it's because they have Miyuki. Unfortunate. And they have Yuffie again. That's just why I was very desperate. Can't do anything against this. I don't know why my Shiki just disappeared. I think it's because Hersey. Hersey passive against Sorcerer is too strong. I guess in the end game, if you are playing using the Hunter and you want to go against the Sorcerer team comp, you're gonna need Hersey. Like that instant delete is so good. This one is auto. Let's see how the auto did better than me. Yeah, it's actually not optimal at this point. It probably helped my leader to accumulate rage. And at this point, their Kasumi has almost used up their health. If I don't have invincibility in my leader, I think I would be lost right now. Okay, they are having a huge advantage on the board. But my AoEs are pretty strong. Yeah, as long as they didn't kill my Miki, I'll have more potential. But luckily, my Rotania just had enough damage. Okay, we have one last replay. Against this guy, I have a house advantage. I think I can probably win him 100%. A tank against the tank. So if you see right now, I have 3 sorcerers buffed, which is a max that Chiyu can give, and it can be automatically done in the arena, which is pretty convenient. This game is still very hard to deal with. Just deletes whatever I have in there. If you're playing manually, I would recommend save 2 damage units so you can put them together. Then after one, they will waste Gammy's revive. Okay, my board is empty now. But with this leader, the good part is you can be a little bit aggressive and rely on that invincible skill, or rely on the first 5 rounds. And if you have a good Rutania, it would actually be better to use Rutania early on, not at the last, so you will have more enemy to buff your Rutania. That's insane. How did I win? I mean, this is almost unbelievable. I have lost all my important units. Did I win just because of Rutania? Yeah, and their Edward is started creating. It's just probably we have cleared their front line, and Ashwa is doing her thing, which is really good. I win by simply having more health, and also I was able to get down their health to lower than mine. This wasn't a lucky fight, but I just had more health, and that shows you how important it is to have those leader halos leveled up. What I usually like to do is have those level those health ones first, so you have more chance to win in the arena. Alright, let's take a look at my gear and then we'll wrap up this video. For Angela, nothing. Oh, you didn't even see Angela, so I'll not talk too much. But if you're curious, this trinket, this accessory gives shield on being attacked, which is good to use for the taunt partners. And this this boots give you health regen, which is pretty good. The weapon gives you additional def. I just don't have another good weapon to put here. Those are just random. Miyuki, I'm using this to have like at most 12.5% damage. That's not bad. And some lifesteal. I want to use Miyuki a little bit longer to reduce their rage a little bit more. And this will also giving a chance of silencing to just have some more CC potential in the team. Ashwaya, it's just random. Maybe this lifesteal helped a little bit, but you're not going to be interested in Ashwaya in this other team. For Shiki, I'm using this as given by the event. Still not sure if this is the best weapon for Shiki, but reducing rage definitely looks strong. But this accessory though, so this is the one when you buy the higher tier battle pass, it gives you immune to stun effect, which is a new item, I believe. And it's very useful on Shiki because Shiki also stuns herself. then you're gonna need this accessory to make sure that she doesn't stand herself. I would say it's kind of ugly money grabbing accessory, but yeah, if you have this, use this on Shiki. For VPN, I'm building just towards more survivability. This gives more health because VPN is also single target damage. And usually single target damage can kill those squishy units, so this can be helpful. And this one gives block rate. This one is random. Yeah, this skill cast rate I believe also applies to special skill, which can restore some additional HP. For my Fibonacci, I'm using this one to have a chance of silencing, again to have more CC, but also Fibonacci has her own debuff against the healers, which is pretty nice if your opponent runs healer. And I want to mention this SR armor. This is by far the best armor for, I'm not sure if the best, but the best SR armor for your Sorcerer SSRs. So I think the formula of how this game calculates damage is that I may make another video about this to talk about the details, but on the high level, it's their attack, including all the buff they have, minus your defense, including all the defense buff you have, and then times the damage percentage of their buff or your debuff, and then times your damage res rate, like 1 man's damage res rate. The thing is, for Sorcerer teams units, you don't have high enough defense. If you boost your defense by percentage, it's not going to help much. So if suppose if your enemy has 100 attack, but you only have 50 defense, you have like those gears are pretty balanced. If they increase their attack by 5% and you increase your defense by 5%, that 5% is not going to be as strong as their attack buff. But however, damage res will work the same way whether you have a high defense or not. So when your character doesn't have enough defense, like the sorcerer and attack, you will want this damage res instead of defense on your characters. And also for the accessories, you're almost always not going to stack up defense. That's why your defense will be even lower. So damage res better than defense. Again, for the Yuffie, now it become important. This weapon I think is the most important one for the sorcerer team comp, because of the AoE damage percentage. It stacks up against also the attack. So you increase your attack, and then after you calculate all the damage, you also apply this AoE damage buff. So they multiply each other, makes it very strong. And for the boots and accessories, just trying to have more damage. Boots is for crate. There are not a lot of offensive boots right now. There are some SSR ones, but you won't have it for a full team. Whenever you don't have it, I think Victory Cornerstone is going to be a really solid choice. Again, here the Bone Claws for damage res and the accessory for damage rate, which is going to be very helpful. It also stacks against the attack, so I have 3 buffs here that stacks with each other. Attack 5%, AoE damage 10%, and damage rate 10%. Very nice. For Maki, it's not usually in this team. When you have Kasumi, you probably want to use Kasumi. But here, this weapon is pretty good. It increases damage against leader. That's why I'm also using Maki at the first, just to get more leader damage done. The others are just normal choices, not very interesting and not optimal. And I have another Staff of Hope. I was really lucky, and I also spent a few the SSR quarters into those two weapons. So another AoE damage. For this one, I don't have all the good gears, but I'm running the attack accessory. For Chio random stuff, I think my Chio is super low. It's only at level 60. In order for Chio to do anything, maybe reducing some rage would be the best thing she can do. And also increasing death for a random ally. Just a random choice. This one, just after dying, gives the leader a small shield. Yeah, nothing interesting. So my tree isn't the best. It's not a good example for you. Oh yeah, next my Selena. I'm building my Selena towards having more block rate. It may not be the optimal choice, but I think this particular combo could be great. So block rate and the weapon. I believe there are some block rate armors. Are there? I'm not sure. Perhaps I don't have it yet. But damage rest here could also help with survivability. And block rate again on the boots. Then on the accessory, when you're also block rate, and then when block rate is triggered, restore 2% HP health. However, my accessory is at very low level. After I level this up, my Selena is going to be very strong. You may even see that my Selena regains more health than the attack. Therefore, being able to pull her back after triggering the immunity. I'm hoping that can become true one day. If that happens, I will share another video for it. Alright, that's it for the Sorcerer comp. I think I talked a lot. Yeah, hope you guys find this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.